There guys, Agrippa Maxentius here, trying to come at you guys with a basic Mius-Front tutorial for defense. Now once again, I still have a lot to learn about this game. It's a huge upgrade from the original Graviteam, and I have some to tell you about defense, but there's still things that I need to know myself. So I'm going to do my best to give you guys at least the basics so you can at least start having fun in this game. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, guys. First of all, we're going to take a look here at the map. As you guys see, I'm clicking this globe here. I hope this is showing up on screen for you guys. This globe icon is what you want to look at, and this shows the position of your troops as well as where the enemy is probably going to attack from, represented by the blue arrow. Now, if you're on the offensive, you might not see any blue arrows at all. You might just see red arrows, in which case you want to follow them or just plan your own attack. Now, my men are dug in, and I think I want to be very specific as to how you get your men dug in because it's a very important thing. You don't dig your men in on the map here. That's not how it works. The way it works is on the original campaign map that you guys get before going into a battle like this. You need to have a man stay stationary in one spot for 2 turns, and at that point, that army will begin to build trenches. If that doesn't happen, you're going to have a few men out of trench works. Now, let's say I want to move a group of men over here to be over here closer to the front line. Well, all I really do is I grab them right there. As you guys can see, I'm just dragging and selecting all of them, and I'm going to go ahead and right-click, and I'm actually going to right-click. I could just right-click and drop them here, but I'm going to right-click and aim them. As you can see, I'm pulling with my right button. I hope you guys see what I mean. And I'm going to aim them in this direction. So this way, they're actually going to move. I actually want them a little farther up. Sometimes the terrain will stop that from occurring. But as you can see, they're still dug in. So those trench works will still be there once we deploy them onto the battlefield. So once we want to get the battle started, and I'll just give you guys some basic tips. Get rid of this immediately. Get rid of the key points. All you really want right now is the ability to see where your men are. We'll introduce key points later. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to start the battle, and by doing that, we just hit finish deployment, and we will deploy our men. And this is where we'll get into some defensive suggestions by me. We got to keep in mind a few things. So let's go ahead. We're going to hit play. This is an operational level war game. And what that means is that this is a very, very, very good simulator. Now, in a position like this, you don't want to move your men. But if I want to select them, I simply select this unit right here, which would select this particular unit, and there's a bunch of different things you could do. Now, let's say we found a better trench line, and I think this is an important thing to talk about. So, just assuming, now I don't think this is a good idea, but assuming that we think this area right here is a better area than these trenches for a defense. Well, let's go ahead and right-click over here, and we're going to select this button right here, which is take defense. Now what our men are going to do is they're going to leave these trenches, and they're going to go into this area to seek a better defensive setup, basically. So let's go ahead and let's hope they're listening to my no commander. Let's not group Koenig. Let's try to move them into the building. Let's go ahead, take defenses in the building, and there we go. Ingelhofer will start moving. So this was a bit too close for them. They didn't want to take positions there, but that's how you deal with defensive movements. Now, once we get into offensive movements, and I'll use this unit as a bit of a guinea pig, even though this is a defensive tutorial, sometimes you are going to have to outflank the enemy, and there are a few ways to do that. So let's say the enemy's firing from this side of the church. We want to go ahead and right-click behind them over here, and there's a number of things we can do. Now, we can go ahead and we can do assault. And what this allows us to do is, if we have vehicles with us, our men will move behind the vehicles and use them as cover. So this is very useful. But if we just want to get there really, really quickly, we want to probably go ahead and hit this button right here. It looks like a spear, and it just means fast move, which means that the men won't stop to fire. They're just going to try to get to the location you're sending them to as quickly as possible. You can see they're really rushing. And this is very different if you're hitting assault or even attack. It's very different. So right now, we just want to hang back. So far, we have no enemy contacts, and you can see it could take a while in this game to get any enemy contacts. You've got to be patient. Don't think that this is a game without patience. Now, you can see I have a few units back here that essentially, these guys back here do not have trenches. So there's really very little I can do in terms of defending with them, but this is actually a commander unit as represented by the flag here, and usually we can bring in some sort of mortar strike. He might have command of a certain group, and as you can see here, this Kohler has command of these 2 units. If we hit Kohler altogether, he's got a command of every single unit in this stack. And let's say every single unit in the stack, let's say we've got some Russians attacking from the northeast over here, and we want to make sure that our men know we want them firing in this general direction. There are a few ways we can go about that. One of them is selecting this set target for observed fire, and this allows our men to basically keep their eyes on this area, and if they see anything, everybody opens up. That includes mortars, that includes all those things. So right now we don't actually have any mortars in this group, but we do have an artillery gun, and we will get onto targeting the enemy once the enemy shows up. I might as well go ahead and show you how to move an artillery gun around. Let's say the enemy is going to be attacking from behind us, and this artillery gun is facing the wrong direction. All you want to do is select this button, turn, or you could press R. I'm going to select that, right-click, and pull back, and the men will reposition themselves. In this case, they're leaving cover to do so, which I'm not very happy with, but it wasn't really cover anyway. It was kind of just a dirtier part of the ground. So there we go. Now I'm going to get back to you once the enemy starts attacking, and we can start talking about setting targets. So once again, guys, just based on selecting individual units, I'm going to go ahead and show you that, but first we actually do have an enemy contact. So we get enemy contact messages over here in the upper right corner, and the enemy contact is represented by a crosshairs button. As you can see here, this little dot represents an enemy unit, but we can't actually see him yet because he's outside our line of sight. Once he gets into our line of sight, we can start opening fire on him. Now I'm going to go ahead and you have to understand, once again, operational level war game. Our men are going to fight like soldiers. So if they see the enemy, they're going to shoot more than likely, unless you tell them not to. And in this case, that's a good thing. You don't always have to tell your men to shoot. They'll kind of know what they're doing. As you can see, our men are actually already beginning to open up. But I'm trying to show you guys how to set targets. So what you do here, there are a few here. We're going to go ahead, we're going to select this button, the crosshair. And once again, we're going to drag, click and drag. And as you can see, this soldier, we have set a target on this soldier. So our men are going to open fire from this unit, Rom's unit, onto that soldier in particular. The rest of our men are going to open fire on these guys. And actually, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to select one of my artillery guns. And what I like to do with my artillery guns is I, once again, like to select targets, first of all. But you want to make sure that the artillery guns are firing. Just check on them every now and again, of course. And try to look for the guy in this particular area, in this case it's Weber, that is in control of the artillery guns. We can find that out by looking at the icon, and we're going to go ahead and once again set observed fire in this location, and we're also going to set targets. So we should be opening up on this location with mortars, artillery, etc. And that's exactly what's happening here, as you can see. This is how you defend. It's very simple. We're not moving. Our men know what to do already. And until the enemy gets way too close, we kind of have an idea of how we want to approach this battle, guys. So there you go. You can hear that awesome artillery coming in, of course. And there we go. Incredible explosions. Now, in some battles, you do get actual artillery. Now, we do have artillery in-game, but I'm talking of off-the-field artillery, in which case I'll do a separate tutorial for that. It's not too complex, but it's probably something that we want to go over. As you can see back here, my men are responding beautifully. My machine guns are opening up. As long as your men can see the enemy, they will open up. And in defense, I really do not recommend leaving trenches. There's very little reason to leave. These trenches will protect you. I'm sure you guys know about the debacles of World War I, and that can be an issue. Another thing we want to go over here is quickly how your men are feeling. So let's just select this unit over here. And over here on the left side of the screen, you can see that you actually get some really good information. This button right here represents our ammunition. Once this begins to glow red, it means you don't have any ammo. And you can actually look at the specific rounds. You want to make sure you've got armor-piercing rounds, etc. Once those run out, you're not going to be able to destroy much of the enemy tanks or armored vehicles. And in this case, you don't always have men with anti-tank weaponry. We can see over here they have no heavy weapons, which means that essentially they don't have any AT guns. It would be very, very tough for them to kill a tank. They also have a command level of 66, which is decent, and their experience is experience. Morale is fanatic, which means they are not scared at all, and that's very, very good news for us. So that's just a few things on defense. I want to think of a few more things to go over, but so far I showed you guys how to open fire on a sector. I showed you guys how to select the enemy to start shooting, and as you can see, we absolutely caused a bloodbath on the Russian line there. Absolutely awesome. Because we're still firing. Now, at any point, let's say you want to stop firing. Let's say you've totally decimated this area, and you feel that it's time to stop the rounds going off, stop wasting ammunition, because we all know, we can even take a look here, that ammo is going to eventually run out. all we want to do is we want to go ahead and click this button, cancel order, and we also want to stop from setting the target for observed fire, because this will get our men's attention off this area as a main area to attack. As you can see, we've got some mortars over here, aughts. You can see the different way the mortar is, as you can see, it's just fired, but you can see the different way the mortar can move using this diagram. You can also see the difference between a mortar and an infantry unit. As you can see, the mortar actually has the symbol of a mortar there, and the infantry unit has the symbol of typically something like this. For instance, Weber over here. Kind of looks like an infantry unit. But it can be mixed. We have some infantry units that have flame tanks. We have some infantry units that just have rifles. So it's really does change from battle to battle. But as you can see right now, our defense is working beautifully. There's still some artillery that's going to go off, because like I said, your men are going to do their own thing until you expressly tell them not to do it. So if they see the enemy, they're still going to open fire. And as you can see, we completely stopped that Russian attack. There's no way that they're moving forward. Well, anyway, guys, I hope that this tutorial has helped. It's a very basic tutorial, and really, all I want to do is get you guys comfortable with the game. So let me know what you think down below, and let me know if you'd like to see maybe an offensive tutorial in the future. I'd really love to do it. I'm also going to go ahead and grab Stadelmann over here, and I'm going to start setting targets. And quickly, let's go ahead and just go over one more time so you guys understand how to select units. So let's say we want to move with a bunch of units at once. Let's go ahead and just select all these guys, okay? So we're taking a bunch of infantry units, and let's say I want to flank the enemy over here. What am I going to do? I'm going to select this area over here, and remember, this game defense is very important. So if we take a housing area or a wooded area, we're going to get a higher defensive bonus. So let's go ahead and move quickly into this area. But once I get here, I'm actually going to want to select this button once again to take defense. Covert move, I didn't go over. You're not going to need it too much in a defensive situation, but it basically means that your men will crawl towards the target and try not to get hit by the enemy fire, try not to get spotted by the enemy, and ultimately try to get to a position and get there, without ever making contact. So as you can see here, guys, things are going great in this defense, and this is exactly how you want to structure it. A few other things come into play, like planes and this sort of thing, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video. Like I said, this is just to get you guys into the game, and if this helped you, then give me a shout out, give me a like, share the video, and post some comments down below. Once again, I'm just going to take Eberhard here, and I am going to go ahead and set a few targets, because I want to make sure to get some kills on those Russians. Come on, Eberhard. I'm not paying you to just observe the entire time. There we go. Beautiful hit. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care, and have an awesome, awesome day. Feuer! Now, key points are locations you do not want to use. The way to toggle key points is to click this button right here. This selects a flag icon, and this will show where the key points are. So as you can see, we own Marinovka, Farmstead, and Marinovka East over here. Now, these areas are important